So what we're going to be going through today is how do you create n number of records and then order those records in Airtable. So Charlie, I think you had a great little talk track on what is the use case that we're trying to solve here, starting from like a request form to then tracking things afterwards.
Yeah, so the use case is like imagine you are a warehouse and you have clients that are sending you a certain amount of something, but you don't know what that amount is. So you can't really plan for this in advance. Um, and what you want is your person there at the warehouse to receive these items and be able to type in a number, give it like a category, and then generate that many of those assets. So this comes up a lot, and we really want to make the user experience as easy as possible, where they just have a form where they're just putting the project quantity and category and click go, and the output is that many of those those categories as individual assets generated.
Sweet. So what we have in Airtable is we have three tables that we've already built. We have projects, asset generation, and assets. So I think the idea that we had is somebody's filling out a form that lives on the asset generation table. So could you jump to that form and we'll fill out the form? And this
Yeah,
is basically the goal of this is to make the user experience as simple as possible, I think.
exactly. This isn't a table that you're going to live in as a user of Airtable. Like this is just a schematic, like functionality based table. And the goal of this table is to have this form. Let's just bring it up again. And this form is very simple. I'm going to select which project this is associated with. Have we deleted all the records? Let's delete
Mm.
all the records. So you're going to come into this form and you're going to select the project it's associated with, the category, and quantity. And here, if I select 6 and I click submit, the goal is that in this assets table, 6 records are going to generate and then accurately connect themselves to the right category and the right project. And you see the automation there happening. And it's a simple combination of 2 automations. That's it. And 3 tables, 1 middle table. So just 1 extra table to make this work. And
Charlie, I don't believe you that this works for, let's say, 16 records instead of 6. Can you just
well,
show me again? Because I feel like, Charlie, you probably hard coded this in there. There's no way you can create n number of records without a script, only using forms, only using formulas and basic automations. No way.
Ben, you got to see it to believe it. So now we're going to go to laptops and we're going to generate, let's go big. Let's do 110. Click go. It's going to take some time. I didn't
It's
say it
going to use
wouldn't.
all of our automations. If Airtable
Yes.
crashed for you on September 10th at 6:39 p.m., we apologize.
Yes, exactly. So there we go. We see the automation running. It's creating all those records, and pretty soon we'll be able to verify that it created the correct amount of records, which should be 110 plus the original 6. And as you see, we have 116 assets, all linked or are linking to the right projects, all with their own unique serial numbers. Um, yeah, that's the final result of this.
Yeah, so there is a link down in the description and in the pinned comment if you want a copy of this base and you want to check out the formulas we used. We also have a longer form video that at the end of the video, it's going to be in the end screen. So you can go watch the long form video of us. It's going to start out with a video of us building the formula to generate n number of records. Do you want to show that formula real quick? Not like the actual formula itself, because they'll be able to get that in the, just show the output. They'll be able to get that formula, the actual formula in the link in the description, but this is the output of it, which basically is a unique list. So each item in the list is unique and it's separated by commas.
So if I came here and changed this to 2 and I go back to that field, you'll see now it's just 2 comma items. And the automation is just pasting it. The rest is history. You believe me now, Ben?
I, I, I guess everybody watching the video, you have to actually play with it to believe it. So if you get access to the base down in the description of the pinned comment, it's going to add you as read only to this actual base that we're looking at here. And what you have to do is duplicate that into your own workspace and turn on the automations, and then you can try it out. So it is pretty cool. You can go check out all the formulas. There's probably 4 really cool formulas. The one we're looking at right now, the one to the left of it, the one on the assets table, which gives us like unique, it numbers the linked records. So that order field, you can go check out the order field. And the last one that I would say is the automations. Charlie's giving away all the secrets now. So
Yeah. And we didn't even like build it in an interface, which is probably like the final like capstone to this, is saying an interface where someone on their handheld can go into the interface, click on a project, and say like click 2 categories, go, and it just does it automatically, and they don't see anything. They just see the assets being generated.
yeah, I feel like this is a good example of, like, you're right. We did not build the interface, but it's similar. I think it goes back to like the core value of Airtable, which is what they talk about often is that there's a really low barrier to entry or a low floor, but a really high ceiling. This is one of those examples. Like, I'll give a little bit of a teaser to, if you go look at the later videos or the formula, Charlie's using a log formula, which I had never, I guess I've technically heard of it, but I've never heard of anybody using it in Airtable, and definitely not in this context. But Airtable has such a low floor, but such a high ceiling. And this is another one of those use cases where you don't know scripting, you want to generate n number of records easily. This is a great way to do it.
But it's true. Like we always say, I've never seen a script I can't replicate. This was one of those. Like something that could easily be done with scripts, or like is done all the time, and or someone says, I need to learn scripting to do this. And that's probably one of the ways that I stumbled into this 4 years ago, was saying, I need to learn scripting right now to solve this problem. And when I started learning variables and constants, I was like, what am I doing? Let me figure this out. And then I did a deep enough research and then accommodated it, and it worked.
I have a theory. So, like, this is one we've been able to solve without scripting. We just talked earlier today, we can solve sort records without scripting. The delete records one, I have a theory that Airtable is not, I think they could very easily add that as a native automation step, but I think they get so many support requests already that people accidentally deleted records that they don't want another like unknown reason why somebody's records are like poof gone. I think that's why they haven't released it as a native step. They want to make it more difficult to add that to an automation.
Yeah. The alternative is also Make. Make has a module that can delete Airtable records. So that's one way to take it out of it as well, and just have Make search every 15 minutes for certain records that meet a certain condition. But I would want them to expose that in an automation. There's a lot of things that people can do wrong right now with automations. Like,
yeah, that's true. They could overwrite all of their data.
They make buttons on the interface. Like a delete button is a very standard thing that you could just ding, and it has all the functionality built into it. So like, we have to activate it. We have to choose it, publish it, just like an automation. We have to choose it, put it into a step, publish it. So I think they could do it.
Yeah. So if you want to copy this base, check out the link down in the description. If you're curious how it works, keep watching to the video here in the end screen. The first thing we're going to tackle is we started this base from scratch. We're going to be tackling how do you first build that formula that returns n number of comma separated values that are each unique. That's the hard part. You can't use the rept formula. Each one has to be unique. And that's what we'll be going through. So thanks for watching. Again, link in the description, or click on the video on the end screen to learn more. See you there.